Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. This episode of the Angry Man Podcast is brought to you by Born to Box. That's from the good brother Curtis Scoons, and it is a documentary about boxing from the perspective of boxers, insiders, and trainers. So go check it out, www.borntoboxfilm.com. Again, from the good brother Curtis Scoons. You probably know him from the episode Kenneth Supreme McGriff from American Gangsters. He was the executive producer of that particular episode, so he's doing wonderful work out here in the community for us in telling our stories. So Jay, we got Vergil Ortiz. You know, that's my guy, Mr. Vergil Ortiz, finally coming back. He has some. I'm sorry.
Your favorite fighter?
One of my favorite fighters for sure. And Vergil Ortiz had experienced some challenges at 147 pounds with something that I can't pronounce, so I'm not going to even try. But it's definitely a condition that he suffered from. Rhabdo, yeah. So before the week before the fight against Stanionis, he had to call off both of those particular fights because of Rhabdo. And it's Friday, and it doesn't seem like this fight is going to get called off. So clearly, the fight with Frederick Lawson is on, and I'm happy to hear about that. Now, I haven't seen a whole lot of Frederick Lawson, but to be quite honest with you, I'm pretty sure Golden Boys matchmakers are not going to put Vergil Ortiz in the ring with somebody that's going to really challenge him in terms of actually beating him. Probably give him a good workout and some good rounds for however long it lasts. But in my personal opinion, Frederick Lawson is not going to win this fight. Vergil Ortiz is going to win this fight hands down. Now that Vergil Ortiz is at the super welterweight, junior middleweight division, he is interested in some of the bigger names there, Jay. Now, he's called out Charlo. I don't know if we're going to see Charlo in the ring ever again, to be quite honest with you, with everything that he has currently going on and just the lack of desire that seemed apparent in the fight against Canelo Alvarez. Call it what you want to call it, but that's the way I see it. And I've been a long supporter of Jermell Charlo, but that was a shitty performance. And then he's also calling out Tszyu, which in my personal opinion would be an exciting fight. You got two guys that move forward, they bang, they throw punches. And personally, of course, I think Vergil Ortiz is the better boxer in comparison to Tszyu. So I would love to see a fight like that if Vergil gets the opportunity. But what's your thoughts on that, Jay? Some of those comments. I mean, Frederick Lawson fight. Do you think that that's a fight that could possibly challenge my guy, Vergil Ortiz? And if not, what do you think about his chances against a Jermell Charlo or a Tszyu at 154 pounds? I think he would have to take on a couple of fights first to get his feet wet and make sure that he's properly acclimated. I wouldn't run him into a fight with either one of those gentlemen at this moment, considering he's been off for so long. But I think it would be amazing fights if he gets a couple of fights up under his belt at 154 first. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I like it. I like it for Vergil. It's a good get back fight. That's what he needs. He's been off for what, almost a year and a half, 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been off for a while. He dealt with a serious health condition.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, this should be a perfect get back fight for him. See how he works out as far as his conditioning. His reaction speed, power, the whole nine. Because he's been out for a while now. This guy here, he's fighting Frederick Lawson. Haven't seen him fight neither. I just looked at his box record to see who he fought as far as any names on there. Names on the resume that really took out to me was Charles Hartley, who got stretched by Jermell Charlo. So he has that on his resume, but it was a loss to Hartley as well. So we'll see how that works out for him against Ortiz, but I don't give him a shot in beating Ortiz. I think Ortiz will get rid of him probably in 8, just so he can get some rounds in to see how he looks and conditioning and continue to work on things he's been working on with since he got back with Robert Garcia. Now, I like the fact that he's already ready to call out, the names of a Charlo, a Tszyu. And to your point about Charlo, I don't know what the future holds for him dealing with stuff he's dealing with on the outside of the ring. And his last performance was shitty against Canelo. So he has a lot of things going on. He's dropped 2 belts already. He might be dropping the other 2 belts as well while he gets himself together, see if he still wants to try to fight and if he's even able to fight. The Tszyu fight, I like that. That reminds me of like a 154-pound version of him versus Stanionis in a sense. they both come forward and they bang. So I mean, depending on how Ortiz looks in this fight against Lawson, see how much rest he has. I don't know if he would go right into that fight with Tszyu, or it'd be one more bounce back fight to make sure his feet are really wet at 154 to fight Tszyu, say third quarter of this year, for that belt that Tim has. Because I know Tim wants the big fights. He's been fighting everyone in the world that's out there available. He wants to be undisputed. He still wants the Charlo fight. So I'm quite sure Tim probably have a good fight in, and then hopefully they can get it on later part of this year on that. But I think your guy, I've been wanting to see Virgil for the longest, man. I think the world of Virgil. I thought he was one of the best fighters at 147, that top 5. With like Spence, Bud, Boots, and Stanionis, those 5 right there, along with Virgil, you can put them in any order at the latter 3, rather. I always thought Bud and Spence were the tops of the 147-pound division. But I'm excited to see Virgil. I'm excited to see him, and not if he's back with Robert, see how how they mesh again and where he goes. He's very excited to be back, and that's good. That's good news. He doesn't seem like he has any concerns right now at all. He's talked about how he's had a great training camp, and he talked a little bit about the issue he had at 147, how much harder it was for him to make weight. And I think 154 would be good for him. I don't know how long he'll stay at 154 because he is a big guy at that, even at 147 and 154. So, he might be here for a year or two, then he shoots up to 160. But I know he wants to accomplish something as far as getting a real belt and putting his claim in there as being one of the best out there. So I'm looking forward to seeing Vergil out there.
Same. I'll definitely be watching the fight tomorrow to see how he performs, see what he looks like in comparison to what we saw in the ring in his last contest. I think he has all the tools to be a player at 154 pounds. We know Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence are going to move up to one. Well, actually, we don't know that now because Bomac basically said it's going to be at 47. But even if the rematch is at 47, we do know that at some point Errol Spence is going to be at 154 pounds. He's already ranked by one of the divisions, right? Which one was it he's ranked by? Was it the WBC?
I think it was WBC. I think it was like 6 or 7, something like that.
He's ranked by one of them. I can't recall exactly which one it is right now, but you got Charlo, you got Tszyu, you got Errol that's going to be there eventually. So there's some big names that can be had there at the division for somebody like Vergil Ortiz. And so I think I think it's a good move for him, and specifically it's a good move for him if it no longer affects him in terms of rhabdo. Definitely want to see him continue and be healthy and continue to compete in the sport. And I would say that if he has another bout of rhabdo at this weight class, then things might be done for him. But we'll see what he looks like, and I'm excited to see him back in the ring. You guys tell us what you think in regards to Vergil Ortiz and his return this weekend. And is he a player already at 154 pounds? Let us know. Don't forget to hate, like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Angry Man Podcast, M Sports Media, and we are out.